Hey YouTube, we are back again this week for another video portion of the Daly Dose Sports Podcast. Hope everyone out there is doing well. Hope you're all staying healthy. Hope you're all doing well as much here as, the rest of your body. A lot of things out there that can trip you up, so be very careful. Hey, this week on The Dose, we have talked some news, talked a little bit about the Super Bowl, but football is nearly over. And so we are beginning to turn our attention to the world of basketball. Going to be talking a little bit of NBA, going to be talking a little bit about college basketball this week. But I'm telling you right now, I am a little bit annoyed with basketball right now. Going to explain why today on our Daly Dose YouTube video, so let's jump into that right now. So football is nearly over. College football finished up a couple of weeks ago, and the NFL just has the Super Bowl left. And then we're going to go into that long off season without football. We're all going to miss football a great deal. It's been very nice having it. But hey, we do have basketball, right? The NBA is rolling along as best they can right now, and college basketball is, well, kind of going, I guess. A lot of games are being postponed, and a lot of games are being canceled, but I think both of these seasons are going to eventually get fully rolling, and they're going to finish in a more normal fashion. We'll have a little bit more time to get these things figured out. But, we haven't talked much about basketball here on The Dose. Not since the NBA season ended, 5 minutes ago or so. I haven't made any bones about the fact that I think the NBA is making some really poor business decisions. You can alienate your fan base if you want to. You can build all these super teams if you want to. You can let the players run the league and do whatever they want, and they can take both their teams and their fans hostage because sometimes the players just don't feel like playing, and you can allow all the flopping nonsense, and you can allow all the bad officiating and all the stupid video reviews for every single call that's made of every single game. I mean, you can do all that stuff if you want to. Just don't expect us all to rush to our TVs to watch your games, because a lot of that stuff is turning a lot of NBA fans and basketball fans and sports fans in general away from the NBA. But that's the NBA. I guess I'll probably warm up to the NBA eventually, like maybe when the playoffs get here, or maybe when next season gets here, whatever. But I'm not even talking about the NBA right now. Daly Dose listener, I am mad right now at college basketball. And I realize that makes no sense because I love college basketball. I coached high school basketball for years. College basketball looks more like the game of basketball that I grew up coaching and playing than that crap that the NBA is rolling out. I love the intensity of college hoops. I love the effort that we see. I love the rivalries that we see in college basketball. And while I know the regular season in college basketball, it needs to be rethought. And this year is even weirder than most. We don't really watch the regular season all that much in college basketball, but we love March Madness, right? So maybe they need to rethink the regular season in college basketball and a way to make it a little more exciting on a night in, night out basis. But okay, we'll figure that out maybe eventually. But I'm not very happy with college basketball this year, and I want to tell you why. First off, I'm not mad at the whole situation with this pandemic. Yes, I think some of the things they're doing in college hoops are nonsensical. I mean, these kids are being tested constantly. Fans aren't being allowed into arenas. We literally don't have one single case of spread or sickness linked with an athletic event on the planet. It hasn't happened indoors or outdoors. So the wearing of the masks and the distancing on the benches, all that might be a little bit theatrical, at least for me. But whatever. At least kids are getting to play. Hopefully, by the time we reach March Madness, the game is starting to look a little bit better. Now, understand this. My issue also isn't with the college basketball players. These kids are trying to play. They're trying to play in really tough circumstances, and they're doing the best they can. I'm rooting for those guys. I'm rooting for the kids in college basketball. No, my issue with college basketball this year has to do with some of the greatest names in the history of the game. And I'm going to name two specific names. Mike Krzyzewski and Kim Mulkey. Both are great coaches, and I mean all-time great coaches. You can make a case that Mike Krzyzewski is the greatest coach in the history of college hoops with what he has done in this era. I mean, Krzyzewski has won 5 Division I titles. He's gone to 12 Final Fours. He's gone to 15 ACC men's basketball tournament championships, and he has won 12 ACC regular season titles. Among men's basketball coaches, only UCLA's John Wooden has won more titles with a total of 10. But that was in a different era. That was in a different situation. Coach K is one of the best ever. And Kim Mulkey is the first person in NCAA women's basketball history to win a national championship as a player, as an assistant coach, and as a head coach. She's only the third NCAA women's basketball coach ever to win 3 national championships, which she has won at Baylor. But I am hearing these two coaching greats say things that go against everything coaches teach. Following back-to-back losses back in December, Mike Krzyzewski said he wasn't sure the season should continue. It might not be safe, he said, and it could get worse. Remember, we haven't had a single hospitalization from sports contests. And you can bet if we had, it would be on the front page of every paper on the planet. It hasn't happened. So please tell me why it's so unsafe for these kids to get to play. Then, just a few weeks ago, Kim Mulkey had this to say, and this is a quote: "The season will continue on. It's called the almighty dollar." Please keep in mind that, again, Mulkey said this after her number 6 Lady Bears lost 75-71 to Iowa State, which ended their 61-game home court winning streak. That was the longest winning streak in D1 women's basketball. Her quote continued, "The NCAA has to have the almighty dollar from the men's tournament. The almighty dollar is more important than the health and welfare of me, the players, or anybody else." Now again, these are two all-time greats. They are our leaders of young people. These are the people that are teaching our kids how to persevere in tough times in the face of adversity. And they are both whining and crying that we need to quit. This is what leaders do? Storm the beaches at Normandy. Like, that's tough. That's toughness. Let's hide under our beds. It feels like a little less tough to me. And also, not really that smart either, because we can pretend that canceling the college basketball season would be safe. That would fix everything. But would it? So let's basically have a majority of these kids probably drop out of school, at least for the year, at home doing God knows what, instead of being constantly monitored with the best medical care and constant testing at school. Forget the depression, forget the substance abuse, forget the suicides that are exploding across the world right now. These two leaders think it's unsafe to play college basketball. Money's more important than safety. Hey, let's get this on the table. Coach K gets around $9 million per year to coach. Kim Mulkey gets $3 million a year. You want to talk about the NCAA serving the almighty dollar? Put your money where your mouth is and donate your salaries then, because I don't see that happening. Here's the thing. The players are taking the risk. You're not. And I know we've talked about this here on The Dose before, but yes, of course the NCAA operates on the almighty dollar. What business doesn't? The transmission shop down the street from your house chases the almighty dollar. Everyone does. What Kim Mulkey and Mike Krzyzewski are failing to mention is that most of these programs, most women's programs in fact, they function based off the money that the men's basketball and football programs make, because they don't make any money. The men's tournament brings in boatloads of money. So do a lot of football programs. And Kim Mulkey directly benefits from it. So does Mike Krzyzewski. He's making his big, huge contract off of the success of March Madness. Hey, we have seen players opt out of their season in the NFL, in the NBA, NHL, college football, college basketball, across the world. Some people don't feel safe participating. That's fine. Opt out. If you don't feel safe, don't go do it. I would encourage Kim Mulkey and Mike Krzyzewski, you probably need to opt out too. See, these kids that are playing, they don't have $9 million a year. They don't get $3 million a year unless they go to, like Arizona. But they are trying to get paid, and this season might be their last chance to do that. And here's the thing. I don't see the players complaining. I don't see them whining about how we need to stop this season. I see them gutting it out and getting out of their comfort zone to chase their dreams. But these two all-time great coaches, they're whining while collecting those fat paychecks. And I don't think it's lost on any of us that both of these leaders made their statements after they lost games. In fact, Krzyzewski made these comments after losing to Alabama. And afterward, Alabama head coach Nate Oates said, "Let me ask you a question. Do you think Coach K would be saying that if he hadn't lost 2 non-conference games at home?" No, Nate Oates, you're right, he wouldn't. But when these two coaches say things like, "I don't even know why we're doing this," well, you're doing it to get paid. You don't have to do it. Quit. Please. I'm begging you both. If this is your leadership, if this is your lesson to our youth, please quit. Go live in your mansions and take care of your grandkids or whatever, because this isn't leadership. You have choices. You've made your millions. These kids don't. And you know what? Most of us can't do that. Most of us don't have those choices. Do you think the single mom working 2 jobs has that choice? I think I'll just take the year off. No, she doesn't. Do you think most people out working on the front lines have that choice? Well, you know what? I think I'm just going to take a year off. No, most of us don't. But these two do. And they're the ones whining about having to do it. Get over yourselves, Mike Krzyzewski and Kim Mulkey. Be the leaders you're supposed to be, or please quit. Get out and shut up, because this isn't leadership. Losers complain. Winners get things done. Right now, despite all your winning, you two don't sound like winners. Okay, YouTube, make sure that you go over and you check out the rest of the podcast this week. This week, we are recapping those NFL championship games. We're taking a quick look at Super Bowl 55. Plus, I'm not just going to yell at Coach K and Kim Mulkey. We are going to be talking a little college hoops and talking some NBA. Plus, we have a Daly Dose top 5 for you today as well. Hey, the vaccine that could possibly end this global pandemic is now out, but it has been a little bit slow getting to those that need it. Today on the Daly Dose Top 5, we count down some people who we would put in charge to get the vaccine out as quickly and efficiently as possible. So make sure you go over and you check out the rest of the podcast. I will leave a link here on YouTube in the comments for you. Hope you all are doing well. I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week.